Welcome to Baxter Bell Yoga. I'm Baxter Bell. I have 3 quick requests for you and then we'll get right into our video practice for today. Number 1, please check out my website, baxterbell.com, where you can find access to my online yoga classes. You can find opportunities to dive deeper into your yoga learning, and you can find more free content. Number 2, please reach out to me personally at baxterbell.com if you'd like to set up a one-on-one session to improve your overall yoga practice, or if you'd like to address any health issues that you have with yoga therapy. Number 3, if you enjoy this video and you find it helpful, please like it when you're done. That would be really helpful. So that's it. Let's take a look at what our practice for today is. Welcome to part 1 of this set of practices that I'm going to call the Gluteal series. And in this series, we're going to be strengthening the muscles around the gluteal area. This provides really good support for general upright activities of walking and hiking, dancing, playing sports, you name it. Very helpful in being able to ascend and descend staircases efficiently. And many other activities as well. It can also help to stabilize the pelvic region, especially the posterior part of your pelvis, as well as the lower back. So we're going to start with the very first of 3 practices that I like to do, and these filter in from the world of physical therapy, but in terms of our yoga practices, they're very helpful with many of the poses that we do in our standing practice, even on hands and knees practices. So all you're going to need is a sticky mat. I'm going to use a blanket because I like to have a little support for my outer hips because they're a little bony. And let's go ahead and come on down. I'm going to have you come down and lie on your side and take your bottom arm to support your head. I want you to bend your knees in so they point straight forward. So there's a 90-degree angle between your torso and your thighs, and then probably about a 90-degree angle between your thighs and your shins. For this first variation of the Gluteal series, I like to call the clamshell variation. We're going to keep the feet touching and the knees are going to lift and lower. Now the tricky part here is that in our exuberance to go super high with that top knee, the top buttock might swing back in space. And since we really want to work on the gluteal muscles and not necessarily work on rotating the spine, I want you to keep that lower back vertical. And one way to do that is to place a hand as if it was in the back pocket of a pair of jeans right on that upper outer gluteal area. And you just press in a little bit to remind the hips to stay vertical. So let's go ahead and do a series of these. And you can move faster or slower depending on your comfort and your breath. Sometimes working with the breath works nicely, but sometimes it's nice to work at a slightly faster pace. So I'm going to suggest that we're going to do about 15 of these today. You can stop early if you need to, especially if things start to fatigue and you feel like you just can't go on. So we'll go ahead and lift the knee and then lower the knee. So like a little clamshell opening, lifting the knee and lowering the knee. I'm keeping my hand in position, third one, lifting and lowering, and 4, and 5. And you'll notice if I'm really listening to the rotational capacity of that top hip joint, it doesn't necessarily go that high. 7, 8, 9. I'm definitely feeling my gluteal muscles working. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. As you rest the knee down, sometimes I like to make a fist with that top hand and tap around that gluteal area. Now when I do this practice on my own, I simply roll onto my back for a moment, coming into constructive rest, and then I roll to the second side and repeat it on the second side. I'm going to swing around though, so that I can continue facing you, but know that at home you can be very efficient in just swinging around to do the second side. So again, we're going to support the head with the bottom arm, make a 90-degree angle between your thighs and your chest, and then probably about a 90-degree angle between your thighs and your shins. And you can play with that angle a little bit. That's not hard and fast in terms of being a rule or anything. Take your top hand into the imaginary back pocket of a pair of jeans and press the hand firmly into the buttocks to remind you to keep the lower back vertically aligned as you lift and lower your knees. So let's drop right into it. We'll lift and lower. You're going to find out how high you can comfortably go without tipping your hips back. And I'll give you the count, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, our little clamshell variation, 9, 10, the feet stay touching the whole time, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Beautiful. And then pause for a moment. Again, you can make a fist and tap around that gluteal area just to release and tenderize that area gently. Good. And not a bad idea just to roll onto your back for a moment when you're done with both sides and just have your feet on the floor, coming into constructive rest for a moment and noticing and feeling how the body has received or worked with that particular way of activating and energizing the gluteal area. Now, some of you would move right on to the second variation, which will be in our next video. And then you might even tag on the third one, so you can do them in succession. But today, I'm just going to have us work with that clamshell variation, just so you can play with that, get used to that, and see how that feels for your body. So again, that's the clamshell variation of the gluteal series to strengthen muscles around the gluteal area. Play around with that in your home practice, see what you think about that. And then look forward to the next episode in which we'll introduce something called the donkey kick. All right, so check that out. And don't forget that you can follow me on Facebook and YouTube at Baxter Bell Yoga. And also, I would encourage you to join me for an online live streaming yoga class sometime soon. Check out my website for the schedule. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. Namaste.